still look at it.
Okay. Yeah. Good, we're going. We're live, we're shooting.
Yes, and don't look down. Eh?
Angela, yes, we are shooting.
Go for it.
This is everyone ready?
Yeah?
Okay.
We're rolling.
Thank you. Let's go.
The ANC reiterates its position and support for the Zondo Commission. We're on record for the establishment of this commission. You remember that subsequent National Executive Committee meetings last year, as we're going towards the 54th National Conference, have called for the establishment of the commission, because only the commission, in our view, could get to the bottom of the allegations, which some of them were published through emails and so on. And we thought, therefore, the commission were now here. We're also on record, we call on all South Africans, including members of the ANC, be they leaders or not, that they must come with information. We are quite encouraged that as we read a number of media reports, that there are individuals, some of them quite eminent, that they are now prepared to come and assist this commission in terms of the work that those who have worked within the state. We want to make a call also further to many others who might still have information that can help this commission to achieve its objectives, that they must come forward with information. Our sense is that this commission has started very well. We're almost in the third week, and it deserves all our support, including the political parties, that they continue to make noise outside of the commission. It undermines the commission. We've heard the calls that the president of the ANC must come and appear. We'd like to state it categorically, that even if that call were to be made, it must not be made to grandstand. If political parties or individuals have got information, people don't appear here on the basis of their position in the party. You don't appear because you are the president of the party. There must be evidence for you to come here. But however, the ANC has appeared before commissions before. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission is but one. We went before the TRC to explain our role in the liberation struggle and in the liberation of this country. So if the ANC, in its determination, when necessary, whatever at a later stage in its approach, may want to come to the commission, the ANC will not hesitate, not be for the first time. We don't need any party to decide that the ANC must come here. So our view is that we must continue to support and not do anything that undermines the work of this commission. The calls outside of the commission that certain people, on the basis of a testimony of witnesses, people must come, it undermines this commission, because only this commission, the judge, can, on the basis of a witness and the testimony, can decide that so and so is relevant to the terms of reference. Therefore, political parties, our view, must not grandstand on the basis of the testimony that is presented before this commission. We must continue to support. That's why you'll see the ANC time to time will come and observe, because for us, we want the truth. We don't want to make this commission a football club. It must not be just a grandstand on behalf of to gain cheap political points. We want to get to the bottom of the truth of this allegation, and therefore want to observe this commission. That's why even arrived late here. I could not leave because I respect the judge when he asked for 15 minutes to continue to finalize the testimony of the witness.
Zizi, quick question for you. Your reaction to Duduzane Zuma's change of heart to come and talk to the commission to give evidence?
Like we have said, we welcome overwhelmingly that majority of people are warming up, that they now want to come and present and help this commission in terms to achieve the objective of the terms of reference. We don't want to speak to the testimony or the intention of each person who wants to come here. That is not our role. But we welcome that it seems generally that everybody else who's got information, and now people see that this commission is the only platform where we can get to the bottom of these allegations.
Any other questions?
Zizi, if we could ask you, as the head of the presidency in the Tuli House, about the story in the Sunday Times yesterday. There's been a statement from the ANC in which it distances itself and dismisses the story as blatant lies. But has the ANC actually spoken to the SG or even the former president to establish what are the facts behind that story?
We have noted the reports over the weekend about what is called a secret meeting. We have also noted that some people mentioned in the report have denied a meeting, and others have in the foyer of the hotel and so on. The African National Congress at the moment, what is seizing us is a mandate and the resolution of the 54th National Conference, Unity and Renewal. What can be explained best, what was in the meeting, what was discussed in the meeting, are people who were in the meeting. But the African National Congress at the moment, if there was any meeting, which was the ANC meeting, as we've always done, we have a photo op, we explain the purpose of the meeting. We do that as the ANC so that it is not suspected what meeting it was. That is the NEC meeting. So we can't speak on behalf of people who are in the meeting. But however, what seized us as the African National Congress, the ANC, is a resolution of unity and renewal of the organization.
But Zizi, I suppose the question that is not being answered is whether you have interacted with the SG. Have you gotten any response from him about this particular meeting, and what did he say?
The point we make is that it's not for us to ask anybody who was in the meeting, what meeting was it? If there's an issue about a plot or the reports about people who are in the meeting, it's people who are in the meeting who can best explain what was the meeting all about. And I think that it's important also for you journalists, that if there's anything you want to know more about a meeting, we can explain as the ANC a meeting, which we're not part of the meeting. But what must also not allow us as the African National Congress is a distraction of the work that we mandated by the 54th conference, to build unity, making sure that we renew ourselves, we renew the organization.
Zizi, they've been called, from the NEC members to investigate actually that particular meeting. I know you're saying that you are seized with unity. They're saying it's divisive and that's driving the party away from being a united organization. Will the party consider investigating, as some of the NEC members have asked?
Well, other members of the ANC, they've got a right to speak sometimes, but they speak in different, which does not help the African National Congress. If there is a need, having understood what is going on, we're following the story as well in the African National Congress. Best maybe to answer the question by Clement. At some point, those who are in the meeting, in the explanation to you about the meeting and the nature of the meeting, maybe, because we can't take an agenda item from the media clips and make an agenda item in the NEC. No. If that issue needs to be attended, it will be attended as and when the story develops.
But Zizi, isn't it better to address those now? Because then we're sitting in the same situation as with state capture. You guys had a similar answer when there were first allegations of state capture. Should you not, you say the ANC shouldn't deal with it, shouldn't you deal with it now? Otherwise we sit like this again. And now people are coming forward when at that time the ANC was saying, oh no, we don't know anything, we don't know anything.
No, we make a distinction. That's why if you look at our approach to this commission, we make a distinction between the ANC and individuals who may be members of the ANC. And we deliberately make that distinction because the ANC here is not on trial. We continue to make the point. Even our presence does not explain the fact that the ANC is on trial. It's individuals, by virtue of their membership of the ANC, does not suggest that the ANC is on trial. If the individuals hold meetings somewhere, whatever meetings that they themselves can explain those meetings, not the African Congress. If it's ANC meeting, we'll explain those meetings.
Zizi, but you can't want to make that distinction between an individual and a party leader when it suits you. When the guy that used to work for the ANC, who went to court over allegations that he was involved in some that issues around cash and heist transit, you didn't make that distinction. You still came out and said we're embarrassed as the party because he still remains an employee of the ANC. So how embarrassed are you that you had senior leaders of the ANC lying about meeting the former president until the picture emerges, and they were denying that all along? These are senior leaders of the ANC.
I think the point we would like to make is that people who are in the meeting, they can best explain or deny whether there was a meeting or not. That's a fundamental issue. What was the meeting about? How the meeting came about? Was it a coincidence? The ANC has no responsibility or obligation to explain a meeting which was not an ANC meeting. And I think that is very important.
So you're distancing the ANC from the meeting that took place with this former president?
We don't know if there was a meeting or not. That's the point we make. People who were in the meeting, themselves, they can confirm there was a meeting or no meeting.
Zizi, I'll just follow up on my colleague's question. I mean, the allegations in the actual article are quite serious. I mean, to plot to remove a president, not only of a party but of the state, is treasonous. Is there going to be a probe with regards to these allegations? That's the main thing we want to understand. How is the ANC going to address these allegations?
I can assure you, I mean, without responding to your question, that nobody, whether inside or outside of the ANC, will succeed to change the outcomes of Nazareth. The outcomes of Nazareth were democratic outcomes. Majority of delegates at Nazareth decided to have this leadership led by President Ramaphosa. So that cannot change. I'm answering your question. So the point we make is that whatever wishes or happiness or unhappiness one individual or two may have outside of the structures, that outcome is not going to change.
So a lot of people here will presumably reach the conclusion that you're being rather evasive. A lot of direct questions have been asked, and you're not replying to the central one.
What is the question?
It's, are you going to get to the bottom of this, and are you concerned about this alleged plot? You're simply saying it's up to the individuals concerned, but surely this is an ANC matter.
It's not an ANC matter. We're not aware if there was any meeting. People in the meeting can confirm.
To find out.
It's not for the ANC's responsibility to go out and find out if there was a meeting or not. It's people who were in the meeting who've got a responsibility to explain the meeting, which has now been reported about.
And what about the Secretary General of the ANC, Women's League, sending a text of a gun to Finita Hunter?
Well, we heard about that in the
You
morning.
didn't hear it, you saw it. I showed you the picture.
We heard about that in the morning. You showed me. I read about it. Well, the ANC, one of the rights it fought about is the freedom of the media and the freedom of expression. So the ANC can't anybody on behalf of the ANC act in a manner that undermines freedom of expression and freedom of the media. We will not support any individual who would want to threaten reporters or journalists for reporting genuinely and objectively for what they think, even if we disagree with them. But to send guns and so on, that person will not be acting on behalf of the ANC.
Will the ANC take action against Miyako then?
I saw that. I have been with you here. So I've not interacted with Miyoko to find out whether indeed she has sent mistakenly, as I read from your tweet, whether mistakenly the message was sent to you. But if it was done, that was not done on behalf of the ANC.
Sorry, Zizi, my last question. I want to take you back to the issues around state capture. There are people that are being implicated that are senior leaders of the ANC, including former President Jacob Zuma, and you are calling on ANC members to come here. His son has agreed to come. Are you calling on people like former President Jacob Zuma to come and put their vision forward so it can be tested? And I'm being specific here because this is a former president who is somehow placed at the center of the state capture project.
We want this commission to do its work without fear or favor, regardless of your height and size, regardless of your position in society or in the organization. Whether you were once a president of a republic or a president or a premier of a province, you must be bold enough, because these allegations are quite serious. We want courageous men and women to come to state their views, not because of themselves, but for the sake of South Africa. Because what this process will do, it will restore public confidence to the public institution. It will restore the rule of law. It will restore ethical leadership. So if we're all interested about these things, not about ourselves, but it's about South Africa. Thank you.
Sorry, just a
Ufuna
final
ntoni
question.
wena ngoku? Simple.
So what statement do we take from the ANC? That the ANC is denying that the meeting happened, which was the statement yesterday? Or are we now saying that the ANC is not aware if a meeting happened? Which one is it of the two?
The meeting never, the ANC never convened any meeting, which was reported. If that meeting was convened by the ANC, we would have reported about that meeting, that this is our meeting. It's not for us to accept or deny a meeting we are not aware of. It's people who are in the meeting who can explain best what this meeting was about.
Is it problematic then that the ANC machinery was used to deny that the meeting took place?
What machinery?
The ANC comms released a
All
statement.
what I'm saying, if you listen to me, I'm amplifying the question which was raised yesterday and raised by yourselves. That the first thing we must do as communicators of the ANC is not always to protect individuals, but to defend the African National Congress and protect the ANC. The meeting which is being reported about, if the ANC, it was an ANC meeting, we would gladly tell you about that meeting. It's best the individuals who are in a meeting to explain what the meeting was about, not the African National Congress.
And
Thank you.
Hold on, sorry.
The more I speak, the more I confuse you.
There's one more actually want
Okay.
to clarify. So there's some who believe that having the SG at a meeting that's not a meeting of the ANC makes him a rogue character. Does the ANC then view that SG as that?
No. I think you misunderstand. I think I'm confusing you more.
Even being
The more I
part of a
speak-
so-called plot
No,
makes him a
no.
rogue character.
Leave the issue about sensation of plots. The issue is that the SG or any leader of the ANC, the fact that I'm meeting you, this is not a secret meeting. I've got a right to meet anybody as head of the presidency. Equally, the SG has got a right. But if you ask me about a meeting that I attended, I will explain that meeting to you.
So in failing to explain the meeting, he's what?
I can't speak on behalf of people who allegedly in a meeting which I'm not aware of.
Thank you, good enough.
Thank you.
It was good enough, ne?
you got that?
Let me mention Zizi Mara, Zizi.
SABC. Thank you. Hang on a second.
Thanks very much.
No problem. SABC, I'm selling a mic.
Look at your life.
Let me try and get up now.